Us. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Heinz Report Case Editions live. And this is a first for us because we're normally a lot earlier than this in the UK. But if you're watching from the UK, it's quite late, and it is quite a late start. But welcome to the stream, and we have got a blockbuster of a show for you today because this trial has taken a turn that I did not expect for it to take. But I have a special guest with me. She won't be on video because she is literally on her way flying back to Miami, Florida right now. Tampa, my bad. She just corrected me real quick, real quick there. But she is flying back to Tampa, and yeah, she has been attending court every single day, and that's all the way in New York. So it was amazing, lucky to get her on stream. She can't show herself on video because, of course, she's flying back now. Uh, or I mean, there was two options: stream now or wake up really early tomorrow and stream when she's back in New York. So I like my sleep. Sometimes I like my sleep. But yeah, let me just welcome my guest to the chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Oops, thank you so much. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you so much for joining me. Wow. Uh before we start before we start off with this case, because we have a lot to cover. Um Tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do, and about your background.
Okay, so my current occupation, I'm self employed. I'm actually a licensed realtor in a few different states, including Illinois and Florida. I am a real estate investor currently, but in my past life, I was a litigation paralegal. About maybe 10 years ago, I used to do some stuff for CNN when they had the TV shows HLN After Dark and Kyra Phillips' show.
All right.
That's illegal, legal. At the time, it was a legal show.
Right.
Legal, right. So basically, and I do a lot of freelance legal analysis and such. So,
Right. Eh, Are you there? I think I lost her. Oh yes, I have lost her. I think she's oh wow. I lost real quick right now, but I'll just go straight to the chat and find out how everyone is doing while I wait for her to return. Thank you so much for everyone for joining right now. Flavio, welcome. Kat, welcome onto the chat. I see you all, and yeah, like for everyone that is here, we have Dani as guest, but I believe that she's probably having signal problems at the moment. So I will do my best. I will do my best because the media has been going. Yes, you're right. Who said? Someone said Sana Deck says he's been radio silence all day, and I'm guessing you're talking about the lack of reporting on this case, and that 18 journalists did not report on this trial, and you're quite right. It's only, I believe, the last day of this direct they started to report on it, and it was really crazy yesterday's direct examination because there was a lot of things in there. Um, there was a lot of things in there in which Grace Jabari really dropped the ball on the prosecution. So for anyone that has not been acquainted with the case, I have been covering this case since its inception. There is a whole playlist for it ready made for you. I think it should be in the description. You can go watch that afterwards. But I laid it out all out, and everything that Grace Jabari was actually testifying to in that direct exam could be found in Priya's letter, which we are going to get to in this stream, because that letter could not be any more true if God wrote it himself. I don't know. I didn't know how to finish off that. I know that analogy, but everything that everything that Grace Jabari was talking about in regards in regards to that in regards to that direct exam, a lot of the claims that she was making in that direct exam could be found in that letter. But I'm gonna go straight to some of the to the only article I could find that I could find. Yes, I can hear you. Hello, she's back. One second. Let me. No, no, you're fine. You're fine. She's back for people. She's back. Let me quickly just go back to Danny. How are you doing? Um,
I'm good. I don't even know when it dropped because it just
no, 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 no. You're fine. Before we cut off, before we are cut off, I had just let the chat
anyway,
know
you
in
heard.
regards to. Can you hear me? Hello. I I
I'm
think
sorry.
I think
Hello.
no, no, no. You're fine. Yeah, I think it's a bad connection. Are you here?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I can hear you. Right. Everyone. Yes. This is Dani Does Law. She. I believe you were running through your background earlier, and you said that you used to do legal analysis. Back in the day. Was that with the now Corp TV presenter Vic Palatino? I think we got cut off again. Damn it! I think we got cut off again. Yep, we got cut off. I think we got cut off again. Yeah, we got cut off again. Okay. So unfortunately, just having a bit of technical difficulties there, because of well, I think and yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Hold on. Uh, are you able to talk?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to figure out why it keeps disconnecting. It just I don't know what's going on. Hold on one second. Give me a second. Let me figure this out. Hold on.
No worries. While you're sorting that out, I'll just go back to the chat real quick. I'll just go back to the chat right now. Um, right. So what I was saying in regards to yesterday. Um, let me try and find the article. This was the only article that was reporting in regards to Jonathan Grace Jabbari's. Sorry, Grace Jabbari's direct exam. Let me just get it up. Here we go. You're fine. You're fine. Here it is. Hold up. This was the only article that was reporting on, yeah, on Grace Jabari's direct exam. That was really, in my opinion, really damning, um,
Hmm.
for the prosecution. Um, Majors, it says here in the article, Majors appeared to be unsettled as Jabari recounted the excruciating assault to the jury that felt if as if he wanted me to feel pain. Majors
Hmm.
veered between incredulous and wounded with a furrowed brow. I'm gonna go down to what she said because this is everything that she was alleging in here. Says I I said who I she said I said who have you sent that to? Jokingly, he a message popped up saying I wish I was kissing you right now and or something like that. Now
Hmm.
the part that she said jokingly is very interesting to me because you were there. You were there, Danny. Could you
Yes.
please? Could you please, Danny? Could you please run me through what was her expression when she was recounting these text this idea that he was cheating on her, etc.
Well, first of all, the entire when she first got on the stand, she was doing a lot of laughing and grinning and smiling at the jury and giggling, and I'm like, is she serious? Because I'm like, what are you doing? And then she kind of giggled, oh, I'm slightly nervous or whatever, and so. Um, Yeah, and then it just went from one extreme to the next. But
Right.
the way that you read that part is pretty much how she said it, because initially she didn't think it was anything serious until that part popped up where the Cleopatra is the one that said, I should be kissing you right now. When
Who
she,
is Cleopatra, by the way? I didn't.
no
Like
idea,
no
no
one. So,
idea.
do you think like is what he calls Megan Good? Like because
I'm hoping not, because first of all, that's a horrible pseudonym. That's the first issue. The second, because there's just so many ways that joke can go, and
yeah,
then yeah, and then the second issue for me, and I said this before, is that I would hate to, because I love Megan Good. I think she's one of the few, actresses out here that are genuinely themselves without all the, the fluff, the fakeness, the extraness. She's just really low key, and she's cool people. And I would
right,
really hate to think that she was somebody's side piece. So
right,
I'm
right, right.
hoping, yeah, because I don't want to think that she's that type of person. Because at the end of the day, whether you're married or not, you shouldn't be messing with somebody that's still with somebody, especially if they live with them. You
Right,
know
right,
what I
right,
mean? So
right. So go on, go on.
mhm. I'm hoping it wasn't her. Because people are joking around that they think it's a pseudonym. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm hoping not. I
Right,
personally think they knew each other before this, and they just kind of reconnected as
right,
friends,
right.
and then it like escalated from there. But um, I don't know. They just they say her name. They never really go any further into it and explain or try to elaborate on who the person is. They're not and I'm surprised in a way, because I would think that questioning would have gone in the direction of, well, who do you know who Cleopatra was? You know what I mean? Or do
Because I mean I don't know how it works in trials, but it may have helped her case a little bit if it was an act of infidelity that caused her to react the same. I don't know how it was. It could be a great defense, like, hey, I did this because of XYZ, But
right.
but if if the prosecution is not even scrutinizing on going into that, then you have to question, um are you now just a jealous freak at the time,
Right.
um
But
but
but that's the thing. That's the thing. The thing is, the answer is yes. Because every single time her, the prosecution, her people asked her about, well, did you feel pain? Did you feel she after every I want to say every other question, maybe every two questions, the ADA asked her, did you feel any pain? Did you feel any pain? Did you feel any pain? And every time she answered the question, she said, all I was concerned about was finding out who he was texting. It was a combination of that and that her adrenaline was running and she was in shock. She never ever answered the question about being in pain, being hurt, noticing that she was hurt. She just kept saying, "Oh, I don't know, I don't know. All I was concerned about was who this girl was, who this woman was." She even testified that after he outran her and she ended up in front of that building on Lafayette where she met those three people,
mm,
she said that she was afraid of him. And then she said she was afraid of him at that point,
how
when she was standing there talking to those people and telling them that he had her phone and they were offering to get her an Uber and yada yada yada. She said, I was afraid of him. This is what she testified to in the court. I was afraid of him. But then right after she said that, they played the video of him walking by and her running after him again. Then she testified, you're scared of him, but you're going to run after him again. And then she testified after they stopped playing the video that they got back in the car again together. She asked him to get back in the car because he was on the phone with his manager talking too loud. And she was like, you're too loud. Let's get back in the car. They get back in the car. He sits in the back. She's still going after him for the phone. So he gets out the car again. Um, and this is when he finally leaves and he tells her, just keep the car. I'm going to the hotel.
right? It's And I'm guessing this is for today's cross examination that they played the videotapes, correct? Would I be
No,
right
the
saying that?
video, all the video was played yesterday, and it was the prosecution's exhibits. They played all the videos from all the cameras that were filming, um, from the time that the truck pulled the Escalade pulled over and he jumped out and ran,
Right.
all the way up until the point where she stopped in front of that building, talked to the people, and then when he walked past, she followed behind him out of frame. That that was the last video for that part, and then they picked up and just showed bits and pieces of her in the nightclub because they didn't want to show her dancing. You know,
the defense has that covered, but
yeah, yeah, exactly. They didn't want to show
I,
her dancing.
I do have a question before I ask my next before I read the next part of this article. I do have a question. How did she? How did the prosecution justify her running half of Manhattan, like chasing him around Manhattan, and then she says she was scared of him? Then the
Hmm.
video plays. They play in this video, and it shows her going after him again. How did
Right.
they argue that?
Well, she just said it, and they kind of left it alone, right? They didn't make her explain it. Like when they did ask her, well, why did you follow after him?
Right.
Because but she just kept saying because she wanted to know who he was texting. So that speaks to the fact that you don't care that your finger might be broken, you got a cut behind your ear, he hit you, your head, the back of your head is injured because your only mission is to find out who he was texting. It's giving psycho to me.
Yeah. Right.
Cause if I got beat up the way she claims she got beat up, I would have stayed in the Escalade and made that man take me to the nearest police precinct.
Right.
Right or
Um.
wrong, I'm not caring about who you're texting anymore at this point because I'm not going to be with you anyway.
I yeah. I mean, I'll be very interested to see what kind of angle they're gonna go by. With how they tend to justify abuse and say, oh, victims do this, victims can do this. I'm really interested to see how that plays out in the redirect exam. That's most likely going to happen after the cross exam. But before we continue on, if you're liking what you are seeing so far, consider sending us a super chat or super thanks or whatever you see fit. Also, make sure that you share this stream with your friends, social media, grandma, whoever is out there. Make sure you share the link out there. We have Dani, Dani, Dani Does Law here, who has been going to court every single day since this trial commenced, and I am going to go into every bit of detail to pick her brain while I have her for today. So,
That's fine.
so back to this. Right. I want to know what she was reacting to in this direct examination here. What what she was what she basically was how she was, her demeanor, all those things. What was she saying here when she said, I turned away from him. I was trying to see the message and I could just see his home screen. I felt a heavy thud on top of me, what I knew to be the weight of him, and trying to pry the phone out of my fingers. But I
Right.
was
So
going into protective mode. I called over and felt him yank my hand. Go on.
okay. So first of all, they skipped a whole chunk of information between seeing his home screen and him trying to get his phone. What she said happened was, they were laying on the, and which is weird to me because I have a Cadillac Escalade, and I'm still trying to figure out the logistics.
Right.
I assumed that she was about 5'6", because I'm tall, and she is. She confirmed today that she was 5'6.5" or something like that.
How tall are you?
She, I'm with my shoes 5'11", but yeah, I'm always in shoes, so I figure I should count the shoes,
Tall
right?
women winning.
Right. So
Continue, continue.
right. She claims he's 6'2". He's not 6'2", because standing next to him, I'm like about an inch shorter than him. He's
Right,
6 feet even. He's six. He's a true 6 feet, like his bio says. He's truly 6 feet tall.
right.
Um, she is about 5'6", 5'7". I have a Cadillac Escalade, and I'm only saying this to say there is about a 15 to 18-inch gap between the two center seats. There's a front row with two seats.
Mm-hmm.
There's the middle row with two seats that are separated, and then there's a open center space where you can walk through to the back row. So that open center space is between 15 and 18 inches apart. So the seats are that far apart. She claims that she was laying on his shoulder across an 18-inch gap when she saw that the text come through. So I'm like, that's a little weird, because that's super uncomfortable. If anything, go sit in the back row and cuddle, right? But okay, that's just me. Um, so she sees the text come through from Cleopatra. She asks, he's like, it's nothing, whatever, locks his screen. So she grabs the phone with both hands,
Mm-hmm.
turns her back to him to where she's facing now the because she's behind the driver, in the passenger seat behind the driver. So she
Right,
grabs the phone from him, turns her back to him, facing her door,
right,
with both hands holding the phone really tightly. So she says that he initially is trying to pry her hands apart.
right.
He spends a decent amount of time trying to.
No. Are you there? Please tell me you're there. Please tell me you're there. Okay. While she is sorting out her chat, I'm gonna turn my attention onto you guys and say, how do you skip a whole section? Yes. How do you skip a whole section? Because I mean, to be quite fair, it is direct exam. They're not going to. It's devastating for their case, by the way. So they're not going to go into this. But she's back now. Yes, yes. Wait, are you back? Oh, I think she's back. I think she's back. Okay, no, she's not. She's not back. All right. I'll just continue reading the chat. While I'm reading chat, make sure you share this stream. Um, she is at the uh, Dani is at the airport right now, so waiting for a plane. So the signal is kind of in and out. But when she returns, I'll try and get to the hard hitting questions and get as much information out as possible. I will also be doing a blog post outside of this. After all this stream is done, I'll be doing a blog post because and then I'll be posting it on my Twitter page, which you can follow me there. It's on your screen at the bottom. Wait, here. Yep, yeah, that's right. It's on the screen there. You can follow me also in the description. I will be putting in the links so you can go and find Dani as well as the reliable reporters, because end of the day, this case is not being reported as much as possible. Everything that's being discussed here will be relayed, um because this is she is at the courthouse. So yeah, it's insane. Oh, Cat, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I am so happy right now. She's an amazing creator as well. I've had her here on the channel when I was streaming with Nat, the lawyer chick, a New York defense lawyer. That's what that a New York defense criminal lawyer. Sorry, that's what she does, and she was a great guest there. She really brought in a lot of the evidence that is now being discussed, the elevator, all those things. She really found the articles that was relevant to that, to contextualize all of that. You can go watch that stream. But thank you so much, Kat, for your support. I really do appreciate you for that. She says, Dani, did Jabbari give any more context about his alleged suicide threats, or just it is in place because that could mean anything? Right. I'm going to ask that question before we continue. Once she returns, I am definitely going to ask that question because it is actually very important. Because uh, it's very important for the fact that yes, suicide threats can be used to keep an abuser can use that to keep the victim right there and there. But with things like this, context matters. It's not like it's not as clear cut as someone is hitting you. And yeah, you can argue self-defense, but that one is, it's very it's very hard to argue context there, if that makes sense. However, when it comes to Texas and and all of these things here, words, etc., we need context. Because if he was saying, I'm gonna kill myself. Oh wait, no, I'm not supposed to say that on YouTube. Damn it! I'm gonna, I'm gonna off myself. Or what word can I use? If you if he was saying I'm going to, take the back door, or you know the coup. But if you was saying all those things, then but it was like on the 27th of March, for example, 26th of March, for example, if it was around that time frame when all these things was being hit, that's actually understandable. She wouldn't be relevant at all. She wouldn't factor into all of this. But if it was outside of that, um, then you may make a case for him using that so that she doesn't go. It would be a stretch. It would be a massive stretch to then try and use that to say this was why Grace was chasing him. It would be a stretch. It would be a stretch. This was why Grace couldn't, leave him so easily or something like that. But that's the way I am interpreting all of this. Uh, I'm 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 trying to get reconnected with Dani. Uh, um, but let me read some more chats here. I think it's weird at the height of his career he'll become yeah, I agree. I really don't. I think that it is weird, but people do weaponize it. People weaponize it, and it wouldn't matter when or where. Like for example, um this is not a case of weaponization, by the way. I'm making a case of someone saying it in the context of everything coming like to an end. If you cast your mind back to the Depp v. Heard trial, um there was the suicide that he was contemplating, but the defense, which was Amber Heard in this case, they were trying to change and twist that to basically say that he was saying all of that so that he can keep hold of her. But this was July. I believe the recording was in July when that recording was made, June or July or something like that. So it's very hard to argue that, especially when you look at the context of all these abuse allegations going around this and that. It'd be very hard to argue it and say that she was saying all of this. Sorry, he was saying all of this in order to get her to stay with him. Why? He already expressed in the audios that he was not going to do that. But anyway, Dani is back. I am going to go back to Dani. Are you
I
okay?
think it's the browser.
Everything all right?
I think it's the browser. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. I can hear you perfectly. Chat, can you
Yeah,
hear
because
her?
the browser keeps cutting out. I don't know what it is.
Okay. So, Kat asked a very important question that I want us to explore before we carry on reading the reading the article and going back to what you were saying. She basically asked Dani, did
Yes.
Jabbari give did, did Jabbari give any more did Jabbari give any more context about his alleged suicide? uh S word. YouTube, please don't demonetize me. Anyway, alleged offing of himself, threats, or oh no, don't tell me you're gone again. Okay, she's back.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can you? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
She basically, I don't really want to talk about it because I promised that I was not going to give any glory to any of that nonsense that she was saying. But since you asked, if that's my disclaimer, if
Thank
anyone in
you.
his family, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I was saying thank you.
Yeah, if anyone in his family hears this, just know I'm not in support of anything that Grace Jabbari said in terms of anything negative about Jonathan. Definitely not all that suicide talk. But she
Right.
basically her thing was every time it started out where it was isolated incidences. But by the time she got to the end of the testimony surrounding anything related to unaliving yourself, she made it sound as though every single time he, I guess, exploded at her, he would
Hmm.
always get down on himself and say things like he he shouldn't be alive. He's going to kill himself. Unalive himself. He would basically self-deprecate, according to
Right.
her. Um, and this was like I said. By the time she got to the end of testifying along those lines, it was almost every time now. Every time something went wrong with them, he would say that. I don't believe it, of course. But she also said something about something about uh,
Hello. Okay. I think she's cut off again. All right. We'll get her back. I will definitely write that down. She said something about I will definitely press her back on that. But let me go back into the reading of this article. Hey Valhalla, welcome to the welcome to the stream. um and thank you for modding again today. Before I go back into reading the article, Kat says she also self-hated on herself too, so I don't know. It seems like projection and also not unnecessarily abusive either way. I agree with you, Kat. I think what we are looking at here, I'm sorry, but what we're looking at here is, and I hate to say it because it is very most likely a false accusations to save herself because of all of these things happening. Kat also goes on to say she seemed to position herself as a savior, caretaker to the courts. Queen's Day says, I definitely don't believe that he has a daughter and has so many things. I agree. I think if we were to give any of any credence to anything that has been said, I think if we were to give any credence, it would most likely be gosh. It would most likely be it would most likely be that he just said it in a moment, oh my gosh, I'm dead, or something, or in a moment where everything's gone wrong for him. I personally think that's the case. I don't think it is anything to do with what she is suggesting. But I'm gonna go back to reading this article and concluding on it. Basically says Jabbari said Majors began peeling her fingers off the phone uh, um and twisting my arm, my hand. He was trying to make me feel pain, just felt excruciating. Next, I really felt a hard blow across my head, a swiping motion over the back of my right side, over the back right side of her head. Okay, that's not a quote. Ugh. It took me aback. I was in pain, but I was thinking, who is this girl? I said, just show me it. If it's nothing, are you cheating on me? I'm upset, confused. He has his arms out. He was pressing me everywhere he could reach. It felt. I can't wait for Majors to go into the stand. I want to hear what he has to say about this. I really do. I really do because everything that he's going to say, I think, will be so favorable for his case. I mean it because I'm looking at all of this, and There is just no way any of this happened the way she's saying it happened. Anyway, it goes on to say Jabbari couldn't fend off Majors because he was very strong. I couldn't move, she said. He was using his hands and his arms to force me everywhere. My face, my arms, my neck, my chest, head. Right. Okay. I tried to hit. I tried to hit his arms away. I was hitting like that, using both arms to indicate she slapped him. Asked if she scratched Major's. Jabbari said, "There's pictures. There's pictures." Okay. Okay. All right. Now I see why there's a media blackout. Majors ordered the driver to stop and then turned around and pushed her back into the car, Jabbari said. This. Okay. The jury was shown security camera footage of the car in stopped in the middle of the street. Majors can be seen lifting Jabbari up and putting her back into in the car as she tries to get out. He walks to the sidewalk, then runs off, with Jabbari running after him. This, I can't wait to get to this letter, by the way. I can't wait to get to this letter because this letter said everything was this. And I was listen, people were fighting with me just for covering this, like just for like, oh my gosh, how do you not believe her? Like, this man is dangerous, this man is this and that. I'm like, what the hell? What do you have? But everything that that Priya was saying is here. We're gonna go to that letter. Um, Describing what was happening, Jabbari said he was trying to make me stay in the car, trying to push me. My body felt very light in his hands, so it felt just that he was forcing me to stay in the car, in his car. He was holding me with his arms. My arms were by my body. He was running away. I couldn't work out why I followed, because you're crazy. How about that? How about that? You're crazy. He broke up with you, and you knew it was over. It was already done, and you just couldn't handle it. Anyway, you know it was going to break up with you. Anyway, I wanted to hear literally that morning. We are talking about when we're getting married, the names of our children. He's running away instead of saying, "Actually, I've had an affair." I'm sorry, but people complain about running away. Seems like they are very insecure. It seems to me that they're very insecure. I don't know. It's just me, but it seems to me that they're very insecure. That they need assurances before anything, before the person leaves. And if the person leaves, it must be on their own terms. Does this remind you of anybody? Please type in 2.0 in the chat if it does remind you of the person I'm thinking of. Um, um, Everything I knew to be true was not. Okay. There's Grace Jabbari stepping into the courtroom. Uh, that's Jonathan Majors. That's Majors. And I must say, Megan Good looks. She looks fed up. Like, she literally looks fed up. I just wanna put it out there. You were scared, but you followed. Exactly. Exactly. Did she mention strangulation and why she changed her statement? I will ask that question. That's a very important question. That's a very important question. I'm not gonna say who, because I know I can't say that. I will I will get her. I will get her whole crew or 39 potatoes on my case. But type 2.0 if you know exactly who I'm talking about when I was reading that. But in regards to Megan Good, she really looks like she's done with all of this. If I'm being honest, like, she's been a rock with Majors, and and I can't imagine what she's going through right now. Like, hearing all of this, I doubt infidelity was happening. I just think that she thought something more was happening, and it just wasn't the case. The picture, anyway. uh Anyway, um I Prosecutors had previously detailed how Majors attacked Jabbari to cover up his infidelity. Okay. But before
Are
we
you able to
continue,
hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Hello.
yeah, I've been here for a minute. I just couldn't figure out. Man, listen, I is there an app for this? Because I think the issue is the browser. The browser keeps kicking it offline, and I
Right.
don't know why. Is there like an app for this particular, like a video ninja app?
I haven't checked. I haven't
Yeah, I'll
checked.
check for next time. Because yeah,
Um,
this is crazy. I feel terrible because I'm like,
y-
we planned this for days and it just keeps disconnecting. But
no,
I
no, you
had an answer for your question about the choking because she mentioned that
right.
today. Um, she said that. Give me a second. But did you have another question before I get into that part about the choking? Because she did address that today, as
Oh,
to how it ended up that they took it off the
right,
list of charges.
right. There are more questions, but yeah, but please elaborate more on that.
All right, give me a second. Go ahead and ask the other questions because I probably know those off the top of my head. I'm trying to find my notes about the choking thing because I did not. I left that in my notes.
By the way, which one is your
Um,
phone? Are you
uh,
on Android or iPhone?
iPhone. I'm the iPhone.
All right, cool. This is an Android app. Never mind. uh,
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah.
oh
Oh,
wait.
so this is an Android app.
Oh
Okay,
no.
gotcha.
Oh
That's
no no.
probably
Oh
why.
oh no 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 no. It's on iPhone as well. I'll send you the link on in the chat. So in the room chat so you can use it. But
Well,
please go ahead. Please go ahead and answer while you're here. So it the question that Kat posed earlier was did Jabari give any more context into the alleged offing of themselves, unaliving of themselves is in
right.
place because it could mean anything. So like do you have any answers for that?
You wanted to know what now? If
If there was any if Jabari gave any more context about this alleged suicide,
Oh yeah, I had
alleged
answered that. I thought I answered
unaliving.
that. You didn't
You
hear
cut
me?
off.
Oh,
You
I cut off.
yeah
Okay. Basically
yeah
saying it got to the point where she basically said that every time they had a blowout, he would
right
self deprecate and talk about killing himself. And she
okay
said a couple of times he did it while he was at work,
right
and she offered to come down to kind of talk him off the ledge.
right
And but she would say that he would be like, oh no, I'm okay, I spoke to my therapist. That's what she claims.
okay.
um
This
I'm
is
sitting
sounding
there, I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, he's gonna kill
right
himself on the Ant-Man set. You know what I mean? It's Yeah, it just
right
didn't make any
right.
it didn't make
Okay.
any sense.
Flavio Souza. Hello, Flavio. Welcome. He has been really active on this case, and I really love his insight on Twitter. Uh, he says, did she mention strangulation and why she changed her statement on that?
Right, and she did, and I have it right here. That was today.
Okay.
Um, she said these are her. She said she didn't understand the context of strangling. He didn't strangle me. You wait. Okay, wait a minute. He didn't strangle me. You should definitely drop that. That's what she said. She told the DA. So that's why it got dropped because she said when she saw in the report that they said he strangled her, I didn't understand the context of strangling. He didn't
Mm.
strangle me. You should definitely drop that. Drop that. Those were her exact words. That was
O-
today.
Okay, so she was pushing for the strangulation to be dropped. So she
To be
didn't
dropped.
actually. All right. Okay, so they put it in there. It wasn't her then. All right, fair enough.
Apparently,
Um.
well, because what happened was they ended up as exhibits on the defense side. I'll
Right.
get to that because Priya is on some other strategy that I've never seen in my life, but it's effective. But we'll get into that later.
Right. Okay.
On the defense side, she put up exhibits of the injuries, and one of the pictures showed her hand with the bruised finger, and showed her with her neck tight, like she was. These are pictures that she took, like she was
Mm-hmm.
trying to indicate something happened to her neck. So I was really sad they showed that picture instead of just showing the hand by itself. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, Grace already said that she told the DA to drop the strangulation. Um, so that's addressing that. That was the question Flavio had, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So, there is another question did here that's been popped up in the chat. Um, did was method acting mentioned at all in the trial, because that was a talking point uh, during all of this ordeal. Was it mentioned at all
That he was
the
that
case?
because as you guys know, method acting basically means that they don't ever turn it off until after the
Right, right,
role is done.
right,
So, and it's funny that you say that. No, it was not mentioned at all. But now that I'm thinking back to yesterday, when she was testifying about how most of the stuff popped off while he was training for and filming for Magazine Dreams. She did not say the name of the movie, but she said the movie where he played a bodybuilder. So now that you mention that now in hindsight, I'm wondering if she was insinuating and just didn't know that it was called method acting. I don't know. But I'm wondering now if she was insinuating that movie was the reason why he was acting the way he was acting. Because a lot of what happened um, happened within like a 1 or 2 week span, according to her. And she kept referencing the movie where he was playing a bodybuilder.
right.
So a couple of things happened in London, a couple of things happened in California while he was on that movie. Um,
Before. Mm-hmm,
so I don't know. I don't know if that's where she was going with that, but they didn't pursue it any further. But you know, if that was something they wanted to, if that was an angle they was trying to play, maybe the defense will bring that up and say he was method acting. You know that when he's in character, he doesn't break character. You know what I mean?
right.
That could
Yeah.
be a strategy for the defense if it gets to a point where, they might try to, connect his behavior to, the role that he was playing.
Right.
Because I don't
Right.
know if you know, but that is kind of the premise of that movie. Not the premise, but there are specific scenes in that movie where he does. That's why they didn't release the movie because there was a strangulation scene of uh, a non-pigmented woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, so that's why they decided not to release the movie because it was it would have just made the case look worse.
Yeah. Right.
So, and he had rage issues in the movie, obviously, because that's the point of the movie. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see what the strategy is. But like I said, when you're done with the other questions, I'll get into what the cross was like thus far.
Right.
Um, but right now, we're not on solid ground yet with the full cross examination.
Right.
She's not all the way in it yet. Right now, she's just setting the foundation for all the contradictions um, thus far,
Right.
and there are many.
Right.
That she's just been doing in no chronological order. She's just bouncing all over the place, trying to catch her in contradicting herself.
Right.
Uh, hmm
No, that's fine. Okay, okay. So before we go into the cross examination, because I know there's a lot about that, I want to go into this Martin Luther King thing, because it was going. It was mentioned in opening statements. The press ran with it. The
Yep.
direct the direct examination, it's been silenced. He's been radio silence, as
Right.
you've been saying on the chat. So what was meant by the whole like you were there, like what was all of that debacle about? Like why was that even a topic that was being used by the prosecution?
Right. So of course during the opening statements they tried to make it sound like he was telling her to be Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King.
Yeah.
So once I heard that, my heart sank because I was like, please tell me that that is not what's on. And because they said they had audio. So I'm like, please tell me when they play this audio, that's not what he said. And lo and behold, that is not what he said.
What did he say?
What
Please tell
exactly?
me, please.
Because first of all, it's a snippet of audio. It's not a full context of whatever the conversation was. But
Right.
leading up to them playing that clip, she says that he got upset because she went out. This was some big, beautiful house that they were living in outside of London.
Right.
Um, and he was actually bringing the Magazine Dreams trainer back to the house with him to train. And apparently, they had just gotten in the house. She was excited. She wanted her friend. She wanted her friend to see the house. So while he was on set, she invited her friend over, toward the house. Then they walked up the street to a pub, had some drinks. So when they got back to the house, he had come shortly thereafter with the trainer to train. So after he finished training, they ordered food, like delivery. And by the time the delivery came, he was so ticked off that she made her friend and the trainer take their food to go.
Mm.
She kept saying that she was just tipsy. I was just tipsy. I would because the prosecutor asked her, "Well, were you drunk?" No, I was just tipsy. Um, but I'm like I said, when you're ready, I will get to the cross examination, which kind of shines light on why the prosecution probably asked her if she was drunk, and she kept saying, "No, I was tipsy." So this is what prompted that recording didn't happen that day,
Mm-hmm.
but apparently her drinking is an issue. And she did say that every time they had an argument, he would call her drunk or alcohol, something along those lines. I didn't understand the context at the time until today happened. I'm like, I didn't get the context. And the recording like
No.
the way that she presents herself to the public. The context was, and you hear him saying, "Are you?" I'm paraphrasing, but he's not yelling, he's not screaming, he's not raging out. He does not sound out of control. His voice is elevated because she's talking over him, and he's saying, "Do you not understand what I'm trying to say? Do you know who Coretta Scott King is? Do you know who Michelle Obama is?" He says, "I'm a great man. I'm a great man. I'm doing great things for the culture. And I need a woman." He basically was saying he needs his woman to be on level with him as far as behavior, reputation, image.
Right.
And that's why he used those two women as examples. So when I
That's
see
what I was
comments and tweets, I've seen a lot of comments and tweets where people were saying, "Well, she's white. Why would he use black people as an example?" First of all, he's black. What examples is he going to use? Jackie O and Betty Crocker. Like, I mean,
They were
who
thinking
would
of
he?
Adam Sandler. They were thinking of Adam Sandler.
Right? Like, why would he reference people that are not relatable to him? Like it's not about the race; it's about the behavior, the poise, the
Right, right.
reputation, and that was his point, and saying those two people's names. He wants somebody by his side that he can basically be proud to say that that's not out drinking and partying all the time.
Right.
That
Okay.
was the context of that snippet of audio.
Right.
Um, but of course, they heard the prosecution, try to make it sound as though he was trying to build her into Michelle Obama or, you know, Coretta
Abuse.
Scott King.
Abuse.
Yeah, just ridiculousness, and I'm positive that that was illegally recorded because like I said, when the cross examination happened today, she kind of dabbled in that's where they're going to go with that.
Right.
Because they kept asking, did he know that you recorded that? No. She moved
Right.
on to the next question. So I think she's just planting that seed to
Right.
say that, first of all, he didn't even know you was recording him. That's illegal. So
Right.
right there alone, that could be a separate litigation issue, right?
Right. 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 That's
Um,
true.
yeah. So
Okay, so we're gonna go right into the cross examination now because I want to know what transpired and how Priya handled herself in regards to cross examination. How did it begin? Like, what was the first few questions that she was asking? Um, that she was asking Grace Jabbari.
okay, so there was a piece of evidence that Priya has been trying to get admitted into evidence since Monday, and
Right.
and she tried many different ways, and the judge just kept saying no. And this is the video when it's audio of after they leave frame when she's in front of the Lafayette Street building with the people that she ran into. When they go out of frame, Priya says that she has audio, but the judge is saying no because he's like, it could be anyone speaking because we don't see any images. But Priya made it clear, well, it's her because she's the only one with the British accent. But he kept saying, no, 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 you cannot admit that into evidence. So
Oh
what
my
she did
god.
was when he said you can't admit it into evidence unless there's a witness on the stand that will prompt it being necessary for it to be admitted into evidence. So what Priya did is one of the first questions she asked, and she asked her 4 or 5 different times, and every time Grace said no to this question, Priya would pause, stare her down, look at the judge, take a swig of water, ask the question again. Then it was crazy. I'm sitting there like, what is she doing? So the question was, when you go out of frame, I'm paraphrasing the question. When you
Okay.
go out of frame and you're talking to Jonathan, were you yelling at him? No, I wasn't yelling at him. I might have been talking a little loud because I wanted him to hear me ask for my purse, but I was not yelling at him. So she got quiet. So Priya gets quiet. She stares at her. Kind of like, I don't know if you have children, but when you ask your kids something and they're lying and you just
I
stare at
was a
them
child once. Yes, I was a child once. I
and
can.
you just stare at them like
Yeah.
it's just stare at them long enough to give them a chance to say the correct answer. That's kind of like what she would do every single time she said she did not yell at Jonathan. Because the thing is that piece of evidence that she's trying to admit, that audio evidence,
Right.
Priya said that you can hear her shrieking at Jonathan. So that means she was at a very high, intense voice yelling at him about whatever it was.
I don't get this, judge. Why can't she allow this audio in at
Because they're
least
not on
for incon?
camera. He's saying because you don't see her on camera, you only hear her, and it could be anybody.
But it's inconsistent statements. At this
And
point, it
and
is.
she has a British accent, and she's the only one with a British accent, so it couldn't be anybody else but her. But he's saying that because you don't see her, you only hear her. It's not admissible unless there's a witness on the stand, and the witness could very well be her, and that's the reason why Priya kept at her asking the question. And she asked the question about 5 different times. The answer was the same. It got to the point where she approached the bench because it was almost like she was being uncooperative in answering the question.
Right.
And then she went back to the podium after about the fifth time of asking her that question and said that she wanted to present the evidence because it would have been that was a perfect segue for it. But he still said no. So then she
Right.
had to move on to the next question.
That's insane.
Um, so at once that didn't work, she went to the next question of trying to establish that the DA made a lot of how many times she met with the DA on Zoom and in person. Um, and she was trying to get her to admit that the DA prepared her with everything to say everything that she said yesterday. She said that the last time she met with them was Saturday that just passed.
Mm-hmm.
Her answer was not exactly when she was asked if they went over the questions with her. Then when Priya elaborated, because she's like, how is that possible? They had to have let you know what it was they were going to ask you. Then
What were
her
they
answer
asking?
was,
Oh, okay.
no, like all the questions that they asked her on direct.
Gotcha,
She
gotcha.
tried to make it sound like yesterday was the first day that she heard the questions. And that's impossible because every lawyer preps their witnesses.
Right. Yeah.
So then she backtracked and said not exactly when Priya asked her if the DA went over questions with her.
Oh, I wish I.
Then it was to some extent that they discussed evidence and questions. Then
God.
then she said, "Well, I just answered the questions when they would ask." She just would not admit that they sat down and prepped. She just kept talking in circles. But here's a fun fact. Turns out her mother, father, and sister are attorneys. So she's an
Ah,
expert at walking around answers. And
that's
that
not.
became an issue for
Did
Priya
she,
because it
did she
got to the
bring that out?
point, huh?
Sorry to cut you. I'm sorry to cut you. You can go back to the Did Priya bring this out in court?
Yes, Priya brought
Oh,
that up. That her
that is
mom, her dad, and her older sister are attorneys. And she
that
also,
has
yeah, it's
that
crazy.
that has
But
destroyed
but
her career.
she said that after basically reprimanding Grace for not answering her questions properly because she said it just like this with this type of tone. She says, "I'm asking you yes or no questions. Why is it that you cannot answer me yes or no?" And it's a fact. Every time she asked her a yes or no question, she felt the need to qualify every question with some extra explanation or roundabout answer.
Right.
And I think that's why Priya brought up the fact that both her parents and sister are attorneys because she wanted to, I guess, set the stage to let us know that this chick is a professional liar and or manipulator of facts and
Right.
or creative speak
I
because she
really.
she learned from her family how to answer. You understand what or how to avoid answering questions.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. Someone just said Priya is she underscore dreads me just said Priya is gonna bomb this case if she's not careful. What do you say to that in because uh you've been in the courtroom? Do you think this is a possibility and why?
You think she says that they think that Priya's gonna like fumble it? Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, she's gonna bomb the case if she's not careful, with based on what you've been divulging to us
Well,
today.
I'm not finished yet.
Oh, okay, go on, continue.
So yeah, so because at first I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on?"
Yeah,
Um, so like I said, I've never seen this strategy before, but as
right,
it progressed, I kind of understood what she was trying to do. I
right,
don't know if Jonathan briefed her on, and that would be fair game. So I'm not even saying this to give anybody the inclination that,
Right.
maybe he was manipulating the situation. But if your life is on the line, you're going to tip off your people on what to do to get your opponent frazzled, stressed out, thrown off, right?
Facts.
So I personally think that he might have tipped his lawyer off on how to throw her off her game,
Hmm.
and Priya threw her off her game real
Okay.
bad. Every other answer was, I'm confused a little bit about your wording. Grace feigned confusion at every question. She kept making Priya repeat questions. Priya would not repeat the questions. She made the stenographer repeat the question from the transcript. Um, she Priya was not asking her anything in chronological order. She was jumping all over. She was jumping all over the timeline. And at first, I was getting a little frustrated because I'm like, why are we not sticking with the timeline? Why don't we just stick with what happened with the card and go with the club, then go with the video, go with the audio? She literally was ping ponging all over the
Uh-huh.
place to confuse her and catch her up in contradictions. And
Yeah.
it was working because it literally got to the point where Grace threw up her hands over her head and was like, I don't know if she said the word confused, but she looked frazzled and she took both of her hands and put it on her head like, oh my God, I don't know how to answer these questions.
Right. Jesus Christ, that's insane.
It was almost like John was like, this is what you do to get her confused. And that's he and Priya did it and it worked because she
Right.
got really confused, really frazzled. Her face was twisted up. She was fidgeting. She was kind of like, you know how when you're nervous and you kind of jump your leg. You could see that she was doing that. Um, Kind of nervous, laughing. She Priya at one point. I honestly, I don't know. It came out of left field. I'm still. I was actually compiling my notes, so I haven't really solidified. I know at one point she was trying to get Grace to admit that she was the one that was suicidal. And Grace kept talking around in circles about that. And then Priya just
Wait,
out of left
wait.
field. Uh-huh.
No, no, no. Out of left field. Finish off. Finish off. Finish off. Out
So
of left field.
when she was trying to back Grace into the corner of admitting that she was the one that was suicidal, kind of leading up to the point where the cops found her in the closet. She of course she's talking around in circles. No, no, no. I'm not suicidal. I wasn't suicidal. Priya just out of left field was like, well, what about your boyfriend that killed himself? And I said, what? And as soon as she said that, Grace broke down crying, had to leave the stand, ran down the hallway that the jury and the
Whoa!
witnesses, yes, ran down the
No
hallway where the jury and
way!
the witnesses go through. You hear a door slam because before the court officer could close the door that leads to the courtroom, she was already down the hallway and had slammed the door. And you could hear it. It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. And then the crazy thing
Whoa!
is, when she mentioned the other boyfriend's suicide, you could hear the prosecution objection, 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 objection. But she finished the sentence. She wouldn't stop until she finished the sentence. And then after Grace ran off the stand, she kind of just stood there, almost like mission accomplished. She didn't go sit down because once they let her off the stand when she got upset, you would think Priya would have been went to sit down because now your witness is gone. She stayed standing there almost like kind of like smug, like checkmate. So I don't know if she threw that in there again to throw off her game so that by the time she came back on the stand, she was so, messed up in the head that, the next line of questioning was going to be, more effective or what. Um, um, when we recessed, we weren't even anywhere near trying to get to the bottom of exactly what the strategy is for Cross. She
Hmm.
just kept asking, just random questions. She asked her to acknowledge if she knows that the videos of her dancing were not presented by the prosecution. She said yes, and she laughed. She said that she kept bouncing back and forth, trying to establish that Grace should know all of his clothes because she's lived with him in three different homes over the course of what was actually only a year and a half of a relationship, because
Yeah.
she did split hairs about the exact length of time that they were together. I guess trying to establish that they weren't together as long as she said they were. She kept asking if she was familiar with Jonathan and how he looks and his clothes. She asked that a couple of times. She showed the picture of Jonathan with the scratch on his face to Grace. Um, she would not, for the life of her, acknowledge that she knew what the jacket that she ripped up the buttons off of looked like, which made no sense. Yeah, because Priya was like, "So you don't know what the jacket looks like that you grabbed and tore, but you watched every surveillance video with the both of you in it with that same jacket that he had on, and you're telling me you don't recognize the jacket?" So then she
Please.
backtracks and says, "Oh yeah, I do recognize it as the same one as the jacket, as the same one from the altercation." It was so basically the whole time that she was on the stand, Priya was trying to catch her in contradictions.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was really all over the place. She asked her if she met his mom for Thanksgiving. She asked him if she knew that he was a Christian and that he carried a Bible with him at all times. The prosecution objected, and she kept downplaying it by saying, "Well, he would pray before eating, and I join him." Almost trying to insinuate that he just recently started doing the Bible routine.
Mm.
She Priya asked her about the Sundance Film Festival where Magazine Dreams was played. She said she wanted to go with him. That was the plan, but apparently he didn't invite her. She asked her if she knew anything about Creed 3 premiere. I mean, Creed 3, him doing the Oscar presentation in Creed 3. Yes. And Priya couldn't remember if it was Creed 2 or 3, so she looked at Jonathan and kind of mouthed which Creed it was, and he threw up three fingers, which I found was, yeah,
Oh, that
I
would have been
found that
amazing for the
cute.
cameras.
Yeah, I
Oh,
found that cute
yeah.
because
Oh,
she
Lord,
was
if that
she
was on
couldn't.
camera. Oh,
Yeah, Priya couldn't remember if it was 2 or 3, and then he kind of threw up three fingers and kind of waved them at her. Um, yeah, that made me smile because I was like, yeah, this was stressing me out. I needed something light in the mood.
oh,
Um, she said she tried to establish that he would send her pictures of all his various outfits of the Kang variants.
right.
Um, Actually, the funny part was all these questions were right before lunch, and Priya had asked the judge, "Do you want to recess now?" He asked the jury. The jury was like, "No, keep going." And that was the first time they had ever done that because normally they're ready to go. So it seems to me that they liked Priya and they liked what they heard so far. That's how because they literally, every last one of them simultaneously shook their head and verbalized that they were not ready to go to lunch yet and that she could continue.
Oh, Lord. Oh, let me just go to the super chat. Wow, I did not expect this many bombshells. Woo. Right. Okay. So right. Carlos Shane. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Um, Carlos Shane says, "Hi, Danny. What's your feeling about the jury?"
So I did post. I posted yesterday like a quick blurb, and I actually might have to go back and change the racial makeup because I thought it was two white jurors. It's actually one because I got a good look at the second one that I thought was white, and she looks a little more Hispanic than she does white. She might not even be Hispanic, but she definitely does not look Caucasian. She could be Middle Eastern. She could be, because I got a really good look at her today. So I think we're down one white juror. So let's say one white female, two Asian males, a Hispanic female who's the foreperson,
Mm,
one black female, one male that looks Hispanic, but I can't really tell. He has darker skin, so he could be Italian, he could be Hispanic. I always put in parentheses presenting because I can't really tell for sure.
mm.
A white male, younger,
Oh no, she turned into a robot, guys. Oh no, AI takeover is here. Oh no, AI's got her. Terminator's got her. This
the
cannot
two.
happen. Oh, she's back. Okay. Are
Oh
you?
yeah, I'm here. Oh no, I'm here. Um, I I remarked in my tweets that two of the two the most of the jurors are unremarkable. They're just there. They're watching. They're sitting there. They're looking. Um, the two that I noticed the most are the black female juror. She's zoned out most of the time, or looking bored, or just she just doesn't seem like she's fully engaged. She was engaged a lot during the video evidence because obviously that's interesting, right?
Mm, mm,
The
mm, mm.
video evidence is interesting. You want to see that, right? So she was definitely engaged in that. But most other things, like even today, her head was down. Um, she just doesn't seem like she's fully with it, and it's frustrating being the only black juror that she's not as engaged as I would expect her to be. And the
Oh,
guy, the Hispanic looking male,
mhm.
he's very expressive, and I don't
Right.
know if that's a good or a bad thing because he's always like he's dramatic to me. Like today, I saw him counting on his fingers, and I'm like, "What are you counting?" Um, he's always laughing at all the jokes, makes facial expressions.
Ah.
Um, he's really extra. Like I said, like I like to say, the white male juror, he wears a suit and tie every day. He has glasses. He looks like he's probably in his late 20s. He's very engaged, but he might even have a crush on Grace and ADA because he makes a lot of eye contact with them in a weird kind of weird kind of way. So I don't really know what his deal is. But other than that, the other jurors are they're unremarkable. They don't. Is it going to close? They're unremarkable. They don't really have any, nothing interesting about them. They're just there, um, just doing doing what they have to do.
Wh-
Um,
why do I get the feeling that when they go back for deliberations, that they are going to be saying to themselves, "Yeah, Jonathan did that." Like, well, especially this one that seems to have a crush on crush on
right,
Grace. I think there might be a hung jury here. There might be-
right. No, no, no. If we just went on the prosecution's evidence, yeah, it would definitely be a conviction. But
yeah,
now that I see not Grace, what Priya is trying to do,
yeah,
it's going to unravel really fast.
right,
It's
right,
going to unravel
okay.
really fast because I see exactly what her strategy is. It's unfortunate because I wish I could be there tomorrow because they're nowhere near done with her. So, in a way, I'm
You're not
not.
gonna be there tomorrow?
No, I have to go up to Tallahassee, but I will. I plan to be there on Friday.
Oh
I
no.
think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly back up Friday morning, um, I'm gonna fly back up Friday morning. Um, because before we left, they sounded like they were trying to shorten the length of the trial.
Oh,
So
okay.
if that's the case, it could be done by next Tuesday. Because
Right.
before we left, Priya was asking if the prosecution could get Dr. Chang to come sooner.
Mm,
He won't speak to her because he's a prosecution witness. And
right.
so she was asking the judge to ask the prosecution to get him to contact her so that she can have him come sooner rather than later. So I don't
Mm,
know if they're going to try to get him in there tomorrow because Dr. Ching is the guy that's going to testify that her injuries appear to be from um, hitting her hand on something and not from somebody twisting.
right. Um, before I ask my next question, I just want to say to the chat, thank you so much for everyone that's been interacting in the chat and for everyone that's that's tuned into the stream. We are currently 158 viewers. I really appreciate all of you guys for actually tuning in to this. If you're liking what you're seeing so far, consider subscribing. I mean, you've made it this far. So we do updates like this, especially for this case and numerous other cases that are going on. And also, if you do like what you see, do consider sending us a super chat or a super thanks after the show. Whatever you feel is of great monetary value, consider sending that over. And I appreciate every single one of you that are super chat, Kat, Kalo Zane. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go right back to I'm gonna go right back to asking you the most important question here, and that was after lunch when I can't believe that bombshell you just dropped on here.
Yeah.
When Grace had run out of the courtroom and recess was over, lunch was over, and everyone came back in. What happened?
She got back on the stand like nothing happened. Like she was smiling again. Um, I'm like, what? What was that all about? Because when I say pre-check, when I say she was devastated when she said that, and I was a little shocked because I was like, well, where did that come from? And like I said, she wouldn't stop talking. She
Hmm.
finished the sentence, even though the prosecution was yelling, objection, objection, objection. She wouldn't stop because normally when they say objection, you stop right in the
Yeah,
middle of
yeah,
the
yeah,
sentence.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
she made sure she got that whole thing out, and Grace started crying immediately, like it was an instant, like
Wait, she was
she
crying again?
hysterically crying because the minute she said, well, I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but she basically was like, well, what about your boyfriend that committed suicide?
Okay. So that happened before. So yeah, that happened before the break, and she cried. She cried running out,
No,
right?
that happened after the break. That happened after lunch.
Oh,
Yeah. She went
wait. So
running.
why did she run out the first time?
No, this was that time. That was the time she ran, when she actually ran off the stand and ran down the hallway and you hear the door slam.
Right.
Um,
So when she come back from lunch, she was crying again.
uh, no, the situation with her mentioning the boyfriend, that
Right.
happened after lunch.
Right.
Before
Right.
lunch, not a whole lot happened because she was just asking, a lot of like random questions, and then it got to the point where we had to go to lunch. But
Right. Right. So when she just so
everything.
that
Go ahead.
just so, sorry, just so that I understand. So the running out and the boyfriend question, all of this happened after lunch.
Yes, after lunch. Oh,
Okay. All right. Oh, okay.
yeah, all
Damn.
that happened after lunch.
So when she came back in, and then she was like, "Oh, everything was fine." What kind of questions were being asked to her?
A whole lot of the same. Priya went back to the Oh shoot. It's okay. You can keep it on. Yeah, I didn't realize that was. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Priya went back into asking about what happened in the Escalade. Um, oh, ho- Give me 1 second. Hold on.
No worries. While we are waiting for her to sort out, guys, she is at the airport. Traveling. She's living that bougie life, that jet setting life. Going to courtroom, back and forth. I'm playing. But while she is, sorting out everything at the airport, I'm just gonna read out some chats. Super chat, thank you so much, Kat, for the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Do you think it's why Priya asked about surgeon? Is that Sag Hub? I don't know who Sag. I will ask her that question. I will ask that question when she returns. um Jules McFly says the one too many drinks, and she also says I'm a F with your duck. Doc Heinz, great coverage. Subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the wonderful, crazy world of Dr. Heinz. It would have been Doofenshmirtz if it wasn't copyrighted, but um, Emmertelen would have to do. It means investigate in German. I had to keep the German vibe going. I actually speak Spanish, but so it's weird that this is a German sounding channel, name channel. Anyway, um, Kat also says telling you is to show she just has stability issues. If you're referring to the alcohol, and if you're referring to the alcohol and maybe the boyfriend question and how she broke down, yes, I think those will be great indicators for how unstable she is as a person. Wonder Woman 780 says tomorrow's coverage is gonna be trash as Danny won't be in a courtroom. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
She says she feels so bad. I feel
I
worse because
do because I'm a little annoyed that I have to miss it, but I do have to prioritize my kids.
no, 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 no hatred. No, 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 no. Do your thing. Do your thing. No, kids, health, all those comes
you
first.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
But look,
They do, but like the part I'm upset about is the mainstream media is gonna, like, they're not gonna report this. Let's be honest, they're not gonna report this. It's
mm-mm.
a there is a massive blackout on this case, and I don't understand why that actually exists, because a lot of the things that you were bringing out, no one knows. No one
Right,
knows. I don't think anyone expected to even hear Grace running out crying. Like,
right,
that's insane. That shows you how much of a train wreck this case actually is. Because yeah, well, for the prosecution, I mean, like, Kat and I, we talk about this case a lot, and we've been saying, why is it not dropped? Why is it not dropped? Why is it not dropped? A
hmm.
lot of what you're saying, it should have been dropped. But
Oh
anyway.
yeah, just the fact that the first day they dropped most of the charges and consolidated what was left into one. That should tell you right there that they know that they have a weak case. They
Yeah.
overcharged him, and they knew that if they gave that jury too many charges to work with, he might not have got charged with anything.
True. Oh my
You
gosh.
know what
No
I
lip
mean?
gloss. Yeah, yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. Oh, no lip gloss. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this. No lip gloss says, I love that other YouTubers stopped their own stream to catch you guys live. Must be doing something right. That's
Uh,
insane.
I
That's insane.
know, and
Well,
I
I
want to
mean,
apologize to all the people that had to sit through my phone dropping every 5 minutes, but because that's
no, no,
terrible.
no, no.
I'm
You're
like the
the
ghetto.
no. It means you're doing something right, because honestly, like, without your insights, I, we would have this wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, you provide such valuable information, and I really do appreciate that you've done it here, and that you've decided to, like, share. your views, share your perspective, not perspective, share your account here. Yeah.
Hmm.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, I'm gonna go into reading some of the, because the Daily Beast published an article that was detailing what had happened on cross examination, and I'm reading through it here by I think it's the senior reporter, Pilar Melendez. Um, and she says, and before I go into that, let me just quickly read out this super chat from Khalil. Thank you so much, Khalil, for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Uh, Khalil asks, did Priya bring up the ex-BF suicide? Unaliving. I have to get used to this. I'm new to you, I'm new to all of this. Sorry. Did Priya bring up the ex-BF unaliving before or after lunch? And do you think it negatively affected the jury? Danny, what do you say?
It was after lunch. I don't know because when she said it caught me off guard because I just was like, "What? Where'd that come from?" And then it was instant reaction. Like before she could even finish the sentence, even though she did finish it, despite the prosecution trying to make her stop. Um, Grace broke down. Like as soon as I think the S in suicide came out of her mouth, Grace broke down. It was like an instant reaction, and like I said, she got up. You know, they gave her permission to get up,
Hmm.
and she got up and ran down because there's a hallway. There's a door in a hallway right next to the witness stand, and that's where the jurors come through, and that's where the witnesses come through. And she jumped right up the stand, ran down that hallway, and she didn't come back for about 5 minutes. That was after lunch for the person that asked. Um, and I don't know. I don't know because after I kind of realized what happened, it did cross my mind that maybe the jury might have been turned off by that.
I'll be surprised if they weren't, to be honest.
But I'm hoping that context that there will be some context tomorrow. Not that I'll be there to hear it, but I'm hoping that there would be some context tomorrow that will explain why she said that or brought that up. And the
Right.
weird thing about it is through all this, through all the crying, through all the confusion, through all the weirdness, her family, they sit there like statues. They don't react. They don't. It's weird. It's a very weird dynamic. So I don't know if like I said, because they're attorneys, they're used to this kind of thing, and they figured they trained her well enough to be able to handle that type of interrogation or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they don't really they're just sitting there, just straight up, straight, staring straight ahead. No I mean, we can't show emotions, obviously, but you would think that they would at least make like move, like maybe cross their legs or something to indicate discomfort. But no, they just sit there like mannequins, just staring.
Damn.
Um, yeah, it's just a weird dynamic. I'm hoping not as an answer. I'm hoping that her saying that or bringing that up did not. But I mean, we still have so much more to go. So I mean, if they
Right,
just get hung up on that, then that means the jury was incompetent to begin with, because
right.
that's not even that has nothing to even do with why we're here.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
You
I agree.
know,
Yeah, I mean, it's off-putting, but I don't think it's enough to just discount someone's entire case because of it.
right? Because if they
Yeah,
if they want to decide that they don't like Priya, they had plenty of opportunities from the first words that came out of her mouth. That
right,
suicide thing was just the tip of the iceberg,
right, right, right.
because the way
Yeah,
yeah, she's a tough customer, man. I like she does a lot of, like I said, she does a lot of that parental shame staring when you don't answer the question the way that she wants you to answer it. She'll stop and she pauses a lot. So I don't know if she does that as a way to disarm slash intimidate, which is fine because isn't that's what a defense attorney is supposed to do, right? But she
Mm.
pauses. Like she'll ask you a question. What's your name? My name is Dr. Heinz. And then she'll stop. She stops. She almost kind of leans into one leg. She'll stare at you, give you time to think, give you time. Are you sure that that's your, like it's almost like she makes you second guess yourself because it's almost like, are you sure that's your name? And then she gives you some time, and then she'll come at you with another question.
Right.
It's just it's a very weird. And I feel like as confident as I am, as hard to intimidate as I am, I think she could probably intimidate me, and she's like half my height.
She lives.
Just because
I
she's
actually,
tiny, she's about 4'11",
yeah, she does.
and
She does look like a bulldog. I'm not gonna lie. She
yeah,
really
and I'm
does look like
just
a
like,
bulldog.
good grief, she was making me nervous. I was second guessing myself, and I wasn't even understand. I'm like, is that what she said? Because I'm looking at my notes, like, did she say that? Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, she's a tough one, and I'm really disappointed that I can't see the rest of it tomorrow because
Uh,
I'm really curious to see.
all of it. Yeah, yeah. By the way, guys, I'm going to have to make sure that I watch the S word. I'm gonna do my best to say unaliving. My monetization is gone by now, so for this stream,
Is
so it's
Oh, is
all
that what
gone.
happens every time you say it? They
Yeah,
demonetize you?
yeah. They are very strict on that. But I appreciate everyone that sent a super chat. Thank you so much, Khalil. Thank you so much, Kalo Zane and Kat. Thank you so much, and also thank you to MC No Light for sending your $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much because I need it now because of the whole unaliving thing that I have let slip
So
so many
how do
times
you
on the
know that
stream.
you
They
how do
are
you
they
know
are
that you
really,
get demonetized? They warn you?
yeah, it's in the terms and conditions, like you can't do it. Yeah, you're not allowed to bring it
Okay,
up.
got
Yeah.
you.
Anyway, MC No Light says I'll have to take Danny's word, but as of now, Priya's strategy looks a bit stupid. I figured the video evidence was strong enough. That's interesting. Okay, so let's go into that video evidence um for a bit. Like, do you think that the video evidence that you've seen played in courts, all of those things, do you think her strategy is diminishing all of that evidence?
Do I think what is diminishing evidence?
The strategy that she is deploying against the prosecution.
No, because we haven't gotten into all the questions yet. Like I said, she's literally, it's almost like housekeeping. Like she's kind of
Right.
checking off a checklist of stuff that she wanted to get clarification on. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. She's checking
Right.
off, like, okay, I want to ask her this, I want to ask her about that. That's part of why it's not really in any chronological order. Because,
Right.
like I said, she's bouncing all over the place, she's bouncing all over the timeline. Um, Almost like she's just dotting I's and crossing T's. So we are not even, and by the time we left, she wasn't even finished doing that. So we're not even at the point where she's actually getting into the actual nitty gritty of breaking down what actually happened. She hasn't even touched on that yet.
Right.
In terms of what actually happened in the car, what happened at the hospital, what happened when they found her. We haven't even gotten to any of that yet. She's just basically trying to pick apart parts of the story that didn't sound consistent.
Right.
That's where she's at right now. And I
Right.
think in doing that, she's trying to break Grace down to the point where she's feeling, because she said even herself in her own testimony about the relationship, how she's at the time, I don't know if she is now, but how at the time it impacted her ability to trust her own instincts, to trust her own, like she was insecure, low self esteem, that kind of thing. So I don't know if this strategy is in place to try to chip away at her her confidence to the extent that she'll start telling the truth. You know what I mean?
Mm. I no no I
Instead
do.
of
Mm.
saying what the prosecution told her to say. Because she did get slick with the mouth when Priya was asking her about was she aware that the prosecution did not show us the video of her dancing in the club. She goes, she goes, the one that you released.
Wait, wait. Grace
She
said
says
that?
to Priya, you mean the one that you released? And Priya said objection. And then the judge
You
was
can't,
like, overruled.
yeah, you can't object to your own question. What the hell is that, Priya? Come on.
No, I think she was trying. I think they were playing with each other at that point. Because I mean, yeah, you can't object on, you know what I mean, on your own witness. But oh yeah, she got because I think that Grace kind of saw what she was trying to do. So then she called herself kind of, tit for tat,
The
snapping
one that
back
you
at
released.
her.
That's even worse for her to bring in and say that Priya released that. Like that. That doesn't make it sound any better, to be honest. I mean, I'm not I'm actually it's not registering. That doesn't actually do her any favors for her to even say the one that you released. Like that just sounds petty. Like anyway, I'm anyway. I'm saying, she underscore dreads me says I think we need to put our money together and send somebody to the courthouse tomorrow. Yes, I am for this. Uh, I believe. Oh, hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. You gone quiet for a minute there.
No, I had to
Yeah.
mute myself because I'm in the airport and I was like, y'all gonna be hearing everything that's going on in the background. Yeah, it's chaotic, man. I'm going through a lot over here.
Okay. So I want to go through a bit more. I want to go back to the direct because this was being reported a lot by the Daily Beast. Mm, that's it. That's the one. This was being reported by the Daily Beast, and it basically said the what was going on here when Priya was basically when these text messages was being read out, because it says it's not working. I don't know what to do. May just wrote in a text message in court. The message said, "I wish." Hold up. I think I yeah, sorry, let me go back up. There's context I missed out. So it says around 3 a.m. Jabbari left the club for home, and on her way there noticed that Majors sent a text message breaking up with her. Yeah, it says it's not
Mhm.
working. I don't know what to do. Majors wrote in a text message shown in court on Wednesday. The message said, "I wish I was kissing you, and you went crazy when I asked to see it." Ju- Um, okay, so the message said from Majors, "I wish I was kissing you," and Jabari responded saying, "And you went crazy when I asked to see it. I'm not an idiot. Have fun with her. I'm worth more than that. I'm going now." I think I butchered that. So please correct me any way you can. What was going on in the courtroom here? How did Grace
Take the
respond
computer.
to this and address this?
Um, hold on a second. Let me look at my notes.
Do
What
you?
was the last text that you said? That last one?
Okay, so yeah, the last one basically
Sorry.
says the last no, it's fine, it's fine. The last one basically said, I wish I was kissing you and you went crazy when I asked to see it. I'm not an idiot. Have
Okay,
fun with
right,
her.
right.
Have fun with her. I'm worth more than that. I'm going now.
Right. But she kept texting him back and forth. That was not the final text. She called him 32 times.
Right?
And then she sent a text that said, "How could you do this to me? What was the point of getting this apartment and pretending to have a life together? I just
Right.
need you to call me." And then, well, that was, she said, "Have a life together." Then I guess a couple of hours passed. Then she goes, "I just need you to call me." Then some more time had passed. And then she goes, "Okay, goodbye, Jonathan." And then he responds, "Did you leave the key? Goodbye, Grace." That was it. That was the last time he ever texted her. So, per her testimony, that was her gateway out. That was her ticket out, right? But then when she was asked why she didn't leave, this is by the direct. They were like, okay, well, based on that text message, it's over. He made it clear. Goodbye, Grace. Where's my keys, right? They asked her why she didn't leave. She said she started packing in the bathroom and decided to sleep on the heated floor because she needed more sleep. And that she locked the door because she was scared he was going to come back. Um, then all of a sudden she wakes up, she discovers the police, and a very packed in the apartment. She claims to have been totally overwhelmed by being a woman half naked, being surrounded by big men. When the police asked her how she thinks she was injured, she stated she alluded to it in the safest way I could possible. Um, then she inadvertently testified that, in my opinion, she essentially weaponized the police because she also testified that she always took Jonathan back and that she was needing help to leave this relationship and wanted to say, "Help me, please," to the officers. So basically, that last text was very clear that he was done with her. She seemed to be done with him because even the night before, I mean, even yesterday, she said that when she left the club, she felt like she could go on without him and she had newfound independence. So, how do we go from that to I needed the police to help me get away from him?
I
You know
was
what I'm
literally
saying?
about to
I
say
needed
yes.
the police.
I was literally about to bring that in. I was waiting for you to finish up. Oh, you read my mind
See what I mean? So,
completely.
she literally just told us her motive.
Yes. Oh my God.
She literally she gave us her motive for getting him locked up was because she can't control herself and not take him back. She used the police to make it a situation where she couldn't take him back, right? Because now he's arrested. Now there's a protection order. Now, you know what I mean? Now he's completely and totally disgusted with you. So she basically used the NYPD to help her control herself and not go back to him.
So, let's be clear here. Let's be clear and run through the timeline. She was in the club. This evidence is gonna come in now. It's definitely gonna come in because there's no way
Yeah.
Priya is gonna miss out on this opportunity. She was in the club.
Oh,
She messages,
uh-huh.
calls, all those things. The story that she's even positing and saying that, claiming and saying, I went in there because and I was scared for him to come back and all that. You were
Yeah.
drunk, babe. You were drunk. let's
Oh
just
yeah.
let's
And that
just keep it a buck. She was drunk, so it wasn't about
look.
keeping it's more likely that you just do what drunk people do and just look for the coolest space, like I don't know. I don't know why. Whenever someone is drunk, they always call up into a ball. I don't know why. I don't know
Right.
why.
I guess
I
it
used to be a
feels
DJ,
better.
so I see this like they literally would sleep anywhere, but they always sleep like in a ball. I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
that's not important. Not
Oh,
important.
speaking of drunk though, because you just reminded me of
Go ahead.
More cross because she Priya was trying to, but the prosecution kept objecting. She brought up the recording, insinuated that it was illegally obtained.
Mm-hmm.
Then she hurried up, non-ref. Then she hurried up and yeah. Then she went and started insinuating that Grace had a substance alcohol problem.
Right.
So she asked her, weren't you? Apparently, this is something Jonathan tipped her off to, and that was another reason why he said what he said on that audio tape. Apparently, and this will, and I mean, they'll find out for sure tomorrow, but apparently she's an alcoholic. And it's an issue with her parents. Give me. It's an issue with her parents because he started saying that. She started saying that, and the prosecution objected because I guess it was like hearsay.
Mm.
Um, she started saying, "Is it true that your parents had a problem with your drinking?" And then they go, "Objection." Then
Oh yeah,
she tried to rephrase it. She says, um, "Let me read it. Let me see. Let me read it from my notes." But
sure.
she kept harping on alcoholism. She was like, "Is it true that your drinking was the subject of the majority of your arguments with Jonathan?" Objection. Um, she kept trying to poke holes in the facade that Grace is trying to put up that her drinking wasn't an issue. Grace, from what I can see, she's a great minimizer. She likes to minimize things that she does not want to talk about or acknowledge. I did notice that in a lot of her testimony, and like I said, she also tends to over answer everything. It'll be a yes or no question and it turns into a whole narrative. And they've had to stop her a few different times. Even the judge did. A couple of times the judge was like, just answer the question. Because because she'll start going off and it's like, dude, I didn't ask you that. It's a yes or no answer.
Yeah. Oh my
Um
God, that's
so
not great. I
yeah, so I'm trying. Let me just find the other. Go ahead, keep talking, because I gotta find the thing about what the other question was. She asked about drinking, because
all
that's
right. Why?
significant. Because I think they're trying to set the stage that she drinks so much that she doesn't know what's going on.
Right. Um,
Uh,
I'm just gonna
mhm.
read the chat while you do look over your notes. But before I do that, we are about an hour or two into the stream. Look,
Mhm.
if you've made it this far, you might as well just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're since you're enjoying this, I mean, you wouldn't be here for this long if you didn't enjoy it, of course. So of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like what is being discussed here. Share this stream with others on your socials. Make sure you let your grandma know. Make sure you let Bigfoot, everyone know about this. We are talking about this this individual that's called Grace Jabbari and how she weaponized the police
Yeah,
allegedly. Oh,
you. She
Jesus
used the
Christ.
police to help her break up with somebody.
Use the police. That's on top of the bombshells that's come out of this. That's the most interesting one. That's
I mean,
like
she may as well have said that because she said that she needed them help. She needed their help to get away from him. But a
God.
couple of hours ago, you said you were empowered and you
Yeah,
felt
in the
independence and you could
independent.
live
So
your
how did
life without him. Yeah, so I'm
what
confused.
happened at the club, Grace, to change your mind?
Oh, and then the other thing that Priya was hinting around at before we recessed was that Grace faked being passed out in that closet.
Oh,
Yes, because she kept harping in on these WhatsApp messages. So apparently, Grace has this good friend out in the UK that when she got home and took those pictures of her ear and her finger and everything, she sent it to the girl. And she was texting her from midnight that night until about 11 o'clock the next morning, and even into the
insane.
evening while she was at the hospital. And Priya
That's
said that there were text messages where she was telling the girl um, things that she should not have known if she was passed out in the closet. Priya was like, because they discovered her around 11 o'clock in the morning. But the timeline from the time that she texted the friend and they found her, quote, unconscious on the floor in the closet was only 15 minutes.
Jesus.
So what happened in 15 minutes that you text the girl something and then all of a sudden you're unconscious on the floor in the closet and they think that you're not alive.
um. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you. I'm just
so
trying to
she kept
process all of
yeah.
this.
Yeah, so she kept pressing that. She kept pressing that issue.
Yeah.
And then she said that she was basically reading the text messages that she sent the girl. So she said to the girl, um, she had texted the girl that she thought that Jonathan tripped over a suitcase, and she was like, "Well, if you were unconscious, how'd you know that he tripped over the suitcase?"
Right.
She said
Valid
that
question.
right. She said that yeah, okay, so the police found her 13 minutes after the last text to her friend. The last text that she sent to her friend was "I'm up and I'm awake," and then 13 minutes later, the police found her, quote, unconscious. She claimed she didn't hear Jonathan trying to get into the bedroom. Meanwhile, he said that he was trying to get into the room. The door was locked. So he was
Right.
knocking, he was banging, the door was locked. Then he eventually got the maintenance person to come unlock the door. She claims that she didn't hear him knocking. She didn't hear him trying to get in, even though she had just sent a text message 13, maybe at that point, maybe 10 minutes prior. Um, she said that she didn't know that he was in the apartment at all. So keep in mind, this is a 3-story penthouse. The living room and kitchen and stuff is on the main floor, and then their bedroom was up on the third floor. She says she only woke up for the police. She says she does not know if Jonathan checked her breathing or touched her or said anything to her. She said that it was kind of unbelievable, but if that's what the video shows, when asked about having her phone in the closet, because that's another thing. Priya's trying to establish the fact that she was texting her friend from the closet. And
Oh
then,
my god.
right. So she said, well, that's kind of unbelievable, but if that's what the video shows, then I guess that I have my phone in the closet.
That's what
Um,
she said.
No, she didn't say the part about had my phone in the closet, but she
Oh.
basically was trying to say because Priya was like, "Well, did you have your phone with you in the closet?" She says
Yeah.
that's kind of unbelievable, but if that's what the video shows, because they're going to show the video when the cops are standing
Right.
with her in the
Oh
closet and
my
you see
god.
the phone in her hand.
Right.
Huh?
This is
No,
this is insane.
eight
This
thirty
is
something.
this is insane. Right. I'm
So
gonna read a super
eight oh
chat
four.
from I'm gonna read out a super chat from Kat. Thank you so much. She has sent 3 super chats today, and we're gonna celebrate that. Thank you so much. She basically says, also ask Danny about Saga Harbor and Beach Wine. This is a reference to our earlier $2 super chat. Thank you again for the
Oh,
show
maybe
$2
it
super
did.
chat. Yeah. She basically said, "Do you think it's why Priya asked about Harbor?"
She asked about Sag Harbor because she was trying to establish the alcoholism. She was bouncing all over the place.
Right.
That's what I thought. I'm on the phone. Stop interrupting me, lady. Um, she um she basically kept asking a lot of questions to try to establish the alcoholism because she said that they got into an argument because she was trying to get Jonathan's schedule, and he
Mm.
said you don't need to worry about my schedule. Don't plan your life around my schedule. And she
Right.
got upset, ran off, and took a bottle of wine to the beach. And then came back, tried to drive herself home, but she was too drunk to accomplish the task. Man, listen, it was a lot. It was a lot. But 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 but
No
but you
way.
but you see how I'm relaying this information to you and how all over the place it is? That's
Yes.
exactly how it was in the courtroom. Nothing connected to nothing. It was just random stuff that she was throwing out there to kind of to kind of disarm Grace and get her confused.
Right.
Um, so I'm sure your listeners are like, "Oh my God, this lady's all over the place. Was she talking about the beach? She talking about this? She
Yeah.
talking about that?" But that's exactly how it was presented, and
Right.
that's
Right.
how
Right.
my notes look. The way that I'm relaying this to you is how my notes look because that's the
Yeah.
way it was
Yeah.
coming across. It was just everywhere, all over the place.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like her. It kind of sounds like she's trying. I mean, if it doesn't sound like it, I see why I see why MC No Light was saying that the strategy could tank the case, because if the jury can't follow, then ultimately they can't discount Grace. However, it just occurred to me that it seems like the strategy. It seems like if we cannot put this into a tangible timeline or a cohesive uh uh story for you, is because that's who Grace is basically. That
Right.
I, I think that's what they're trying to go for, with the cross examination, because to be quite fair, the story that Grace has basically said, it doesn't sound cohesive either. It really, from what even you explained, it didn't really go anywhere. And the kind of balance that was brought was when the evidence was brought out and she was trying to dance around the evidence. So
Hmm.
if this is Priya's strategy to just like come in and cause a bit of chaos, then tomorrow comes in and then
I
lays
think
it
it'll
all
be
out.
more orderly tomorrow. Right. I
Yeah,
think
that's what
she's
I'm
like,
thinking. Because this seems like you come from a family of lawyers. You're not going to answer my question straight. So let me destroy this case right now. Let me throw it up in the air. Tomorrow I'll
hmm.
clean it up based
Right.
on
And
what
I think that's what
comes out.
I hope that's what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm so gutted you're not gonna be at the courtroom. I really am. I
I
really am.
know
But
because there's nobody there. I made a couple of connections with reporters, but
yeah,
I sit and watch them and they're not even taking any notes really. So I'm
yeah,
like, even if one of them did go back, I can't even rely on them to,
that pains me
do it.
so much. That pains me so much that you're
Yeah.
even saying that they didn't even take any notes
I mean,
whatsoever.
they're
That's
on their
insane.
laptops, but it's like they'll type a couple of sentences here and there, but it's not really because me, I'm literally writing word for word. Even the stuff
Right.
that I don't want to know, I'm writing down just for context. And
Yeah, 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 yeah.
then I share what make what look what I share what looks good for us, but I write down everything, even the bad stuff,
Right.
just so that I can keep context and remember myself where it came from.
Right.
Um,
No,
but
I
yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of inconsistency. It's a lot of I can't remember. She can't remember how much she drank the night at the club, even though Priya literally ran down how many drinks she had based on the surveillance. And she still sat there and tried to say she didn't know. There was also a chunk of time dedicated to her trying to let us know that basically the DA bribed her to testify because Priya brought it up. She was like, "Did the DA say that they would not prosecute you if you testified?" Objection.
Oh my god.
But see, that's the thing. Priya's planting these seeds. She know it's
Yeah,
objectable, but she's
yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
planting the seeds. She finishes
It
the
makes sense.
sentence.
Yeah, yeah. Go. I mean, why not? Why not go for it? I mean,
Right.
like,
And I
that's
truly think that that's
insane.
what happened because remember, she said she wasn't going to cooperate. According to the text, she said
Yeah,
she
yeah,
was
yeah.
not going to cooperate with them. She was not going to, let them prosecute him. But the
Right.
minute she got arrested, now you're a witness. Now you're so Priya put that out there. She said no. The prosecution objected, but
Oh,
it's already out there. So now our wheels are turning. You
yeah,
know,
not just that. I mean, to be quite fair, the text message in of itself can be used to impeach her. To be honest,
right?
can be used because I mean, did they win the objection? I'm pretty sure they did win the objection, right?
No, she kept the objection was sustained. All of the
Oh, okay.
objection was
So yeah,
sustained,
so
but the
yeah,
thing
so
was
they
it
won
was
it. Yeah,
already said, so we heard it.
right.
It doesn't matter that the judge didn't take her side. The jury still heard it. They didn't strike it from the record. So it's
Yeah,
still on record that she said that
yeah.
the DA made a deal with her that if he did not prosecute her for her arrest, would she come and testify against Jonathan Majors? Then they went into apparently she has a victim advocate, and part of that they have a process where you can get reimbursed for things as an abused person. So like let's say you had to flee from your person and you left all your stuff behind. They have
Right.
a process where they can reimburse you for things that you lost. So turns out Miss Jabbari was over here running it up
Mm.
because she asked for reimbursement for $700 worth of clothes that she did not have. she
Yes.
she she tried to get reimbursed for she put in a $750 claim for clothing that needed to be replaced and then testified that she didn't have any clothing that were damaged that night. She put in a $250 claim for personal hygiene products. She uh the um um the
Grace.
defense lawyer
Oh,
asked
okay.
her if the
Yeah.
DA gave her $1,000. She said no for travel. They paid for her travel and hotel for this trial. Grace kept saying that they only paid for her on the days that she testified, but she's been here since Saturday in the same hotel, so that's a lie.
Mm, mm, mm.
Um, No, since Friday. So she's been here since Friday, but she said 3 or 4 different times that they're only paying for her to stay for the days that she testifies. So that's only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but you've been here since last Friday in that same hotel. Why she couldn't admit that, I don't know.
This is a mis- yes. Oh
Yeah,
Lord. Thank
she
you so. Yeah.
go ahead. Hmm.
No, no. I just finish what you're gonna say. She, and then I'll say well, I'll say my bit. Go ahead. Finish what you were gonna say.
But just backtracking real quick to when she was asked if she turned herself in when the DA promised not to prosecute her, she said,
Mm.
I wouldn't say that. So to me, that's a yes, right? Then
Hello.
they
You there?
asked her. Then they were
Oh,
asking her about immigration questions because they were trying to establish that the DA promised her immigration status, and of course, she denied that.
yeah.
Um,
Of course she would.
and yeah, right. It just a lot of, but like I said, the same way that I'm relaying this to you is the same way that it got relayed to us all over the place.
Mm, mm.
And you see how confused you are and your listeners are. That's how
Yeah.
confused she was. So I think that that was the whole point, to get her so frazzled and worked up and confused that by the time she comes in tomorrow, her spirit's going to be broken, and she's either going to answer the questions like she's supposed to, or she's going to trip herself up and play right into their hands, because
Mm.
she's not going to have the confidence anymore, because she had a lot of confidence with the prosecution because that was her team. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
basically let her get away with, not telling the full truth or telling half truths or elaborating on answers that didn't need to be elaborated
Right.
on. But the defense is not having it. So
To
I
be
mean,
fair, Priya's tactics does seem like it's for redirect to really.
and she did say that. She did say that there was a piece of evidence that the jury couldn't see, so they gave it to her. It was the 40-second video of her in the closet with the police. So they
Oh,
handed her a laptop with earphones so she could watch it. And I did hear Priya say something about it being for redirect. So they definitely plan on coming back for her.
right. That must be recross then, because if they're bringing video evidence that wasn't
I mean,
introduced,
recross, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Right,
that must be
recross.
recross then. Yeah.
Right.
Damn. Wow, it is
Hmm.
not gonna end here. I'm so angry that you're not gonna be there, but I'm gonna
Yeah, I
try and
am
push
too,
you.
but.
Um, uh, I'm gonna thank you everyone that's in the chat. Flavio Souza says her family is wealthy, of course, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, like those. I don't know if that's gonna go against her, but I hope not. I hope wealth doesn't play a part in the jury's, determination of this case. Jules McFly did send an earlier message saying thank you. Sorry, that this is a great stream. Thank you so much, Jules, for that compliment. I really do appreciate, and I appreciate every single one of you for rocking with us. We are 2 hours and five, 2 hours in. I will put in timestamps. Thank you, Kat, for the reminder. I always do forget to put that in, but I
Yeah,
do.
because this is a long one.
But I do. I am gonna put timestamps in. No one is gonna miss this. And I'm so happy that the 3 days of this case has been brought in, because the context that's brought in here, it does contextualize the opening statements that a lot of the media was running with, and which makes no sense on their silence now. It makes absolutely no sense. There is even, I think, one of the reports from People magazine was even um describing the physical attacks that Grace was alleging in the direct exam. However, she didn't put in the reason why this was happening, and she had enough tweets to do so. She had enough characters to do so, but she omitted that out. Kat called her out amazingly well. I can't get. Damn it, I don't have the tweet. I think I do have the tweet. Let me get the tweet up. I'm not gonna let that go. But as I get the tweet up, I'm going to ask you this question. Because it does say here for the cross exam, um that the prosecutor, sorry, not for the cross exam, I'm going back to the direct exam. It says prosecutors say May just later went back to his apartment the next morning, where he found Grace Jabbari and called 911. um Jabbari said that she alluded to the officers in the safest way I felt possible about the assault, but she felt nervous when she heard Majors in the next room. Okay.
Right.
Okay. She, in quotation, it says, "I didn't want to say exactly what happened, but I also saw this as a moment to have a bit of help in leaving the relationship.
Right.
I
Right.
was
Then
just
stop
really
right
scared."
there. Stop right
Without your
there.
context, this is why I went here, because I read through this article. It does not mention everything you mentioned to contextualize all of this. It's not mentioned in the article, but please
Of course
go ahead.
not.
Go ahead.
The police are saving her out of the relationship, but did they put the part where she said because she kept taking him back?
No, it's not there.
They didn't put that part in, but she
Nope.
owned
Nope.
up to the fact that every time they had an issue, she would take him back. So
Mm.
she used the police to help her stop taking him back. Because the only way to stop taking him back is for him to get arrested and for everything to just go up in smoke till he will not ever entertain her again. And that's exactly what happened.
Damn. Okay, so let me find this tweet. Oh damn, I don't even have my Twitter up. But the question I do have for you is, outside of everything that you did mention in regards to the cross exam happening, what more in your notes, because I don't think I asked every question that there was to ask to ascertain what's going on. What more in your notes that wasn't touched on today in regards to the cross examination?
Let me see, because my notes are all over the place, just like my.
Take your
It's
time,
literally,
please.
yeah, it
I'm
was literally like my brain
I'm
was
going.
scrambled, and I wasn't even on the stand. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, what? And then I'm like, how am I supposed to compile this into something that makes sense because it's all over the place. So she did when they did revisit what happened in the car the second time that they got back in. She claimed that he pushed her shoulder, and that's
Mhm.
when she grabbed his shirt to stop him from leaving the car. The shirt that she said she didn't recognize or know that he had on, even though he had it on, she ripped it, and it was in all the surveillance video leading up to the point after she chased him down the street and everything else. She couldn't remember what he had on today,
Insane.
between yesterday and today. Um, right. What else? She said that. Let me see. Pull buttons off. Oh, that was okay. So we adjourned at that point when she said that she pulled off. Um, The judge, when the jury left the room, the judge did tell Jonathan that his protective order expired today and that he would
Oh,
reissue it. And Jonathan Majors said, he acknowledged it verbally.
yeah, yeah,
It was nice to hear his voice after 3 days.
right.
Um, and then, like I told you, Priya requested that Dr. Ching come earlier to shorten the trial. So she wanted the prosecution to ask him to contact her because she had made a comment that he will not return her calls. I guess because he's a prosecution witness.
Mm.
Um, Let me see. A big one, an important one is Priya's trying to establish that she had put her ear up on the screen for a good 10, 15 minutes, 4 or 5 different shots of the back of her ear. Um, Two of the shots showed blood behind the ear. Two of them showed no blood behind the ear. She kept pressing the issue of, and we all saw it for ourselves. In every surveillance video, you see Grace sweeping her hair behind that same ear that had no injury on it at the time. They zoomed in on her fingernails, and you can see where they're not long, but they're long enough that you can scratch yourself. So I think she didn't get to that point yet, but I'm feeling like tomorrow she'll get to the point where
Tomorrow
she
she will. I know that
right,
Grace is not gonna.
where
No,
she
sorry,
because
not
she
Grace,
kept
not Grace.
asking her, she
Priya,
was like,
Priya.
why is there blood under your fingernails in this picture, but there's no blood under your fingernail? Oh, she just kept going and going and going. And of course Grace tried to wiggle her way out of how the blood miraculously got from under her fingernails.
No way.
um yeah, it was just crazy. So, and then Priya zooms in on some earrings that she had on, but she said it without saying it. So to me, I think she kept harping on her brushing her hair behind her ears all night because she made sure she gave it a timestamp. She said we didn't see any blood between 12:41 a.m. and 8 a.m. But then all of a sudden, you had by the time you took the pictures and sent them to your friend, you had blood behind your ear. So she's, like I said, trying to, I guess, say that Grace is the one that did it by constantly sweeping her. And it's completely believable because if you sit now while we're talking and sweep your hand behind your ear, you're literally scratching the back of your ear if you have long nails.
And also, this is actually very interesting. This is actually very interesting because she did deny giving Jonathan scratches, and this is a catch 22 that she has found herself in now because
Right, because
now
not
you
only did you scratch his face and his arm, but you scratched the back of your ear.
yeah. So now you have to choose. Well, did you scratch the back of your ear or did you scratch Jonathan? Which one? You kind of have to choose. You know, it can't. I
Right.
mean, well, it can be both. Don't get twisted. It can be both, but there is blood on your fingernails.
Mm-hmm.
Your ear is
In one
bleeding.
picture, but they're not in another picture.
Yeah, so all of these questions, like it has to tie back, and that's actually masterful strategy. That is that's really good chaos creation. I'll
Yo,
call
she
it
created a lot of chaos
that.
and
I'll
she
call
hit
it
on a
that.
lot of important points.
I'll call it that. But
Mm-hmm.
before I'm gonna I'm going to we've not gone long left on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say if you are enjoying this stream and before I continue on and read the letter from Priya way back when, because I did cover it on this channel, is on the video that's called Jonathan Major's trial date set. Can he beat the charges? So that video does contain the letter that we're going to read. But before we go into that letter, if you did enjoy this, if you are enjoying this, consider sending a super chat, super sticker, super thanks, all those things, whatever you feel is of monetary value to what you've received on stream today, please send away. It is very appreciated. I do thank you so much for the support that I've received so far. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I read a couple of chats. Kat says timestamp bloody fingernail. Of course. Thank you so much. Of course I am. Of course. Of course. Oh yeah. And also, of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this. You've made it this far. Make it official. We are now married. Okay, so um Callow Kalojane says, yes, thank you. That's what I couldn't. Okay, that's not that's a the chat does have their own chats going on. So um uh I will go back onto this letter because it is very interesting. I'm not gonna read all of it. You can the letter is in the description. It will be in the description. Oh, also go and check out um Heinz.info. You will find all of these documents there, as well as the articles that was detailing everything that was happening before. And with the blog that I'm going to, well, it's not really a blog, it's kind of the same thing I have done with those articles. I am going to be putting all the articles that's used on this stream, um and as well as everything that Dani has shared on this stream. I will be putting it um yeah in that post that I am gearing on for tomorrow. So there will be a lot of information there. Do go check it out. Yeah, but most importantly, you are going to get this letter, because what we're about to read, you will we will see whether it filters through everything Grace was saying and everything that Priya um was speaking about in court. Are you ready, Dani? Dani? Oh damn, don't tell me she's no.
I'm
Dani, you
here.
there?
I'm about to
No,
board the. I'm here. I'm here.
don't do that to me. I have PTSD of you cutting in and out. Oh, that
I
scared me.
know. I know. I'm about to board the plane. But okay, ask me the question real quick.
No, I was gonna say,
Can
did
you hear
you
me?
do you remember the do you remember the letter that Priya um uploaded to Document Cloud by Insider? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on. The audio keeps going in and out. I say
N-
upload.
yeah. I was asking if you are aware of the letter that Priya gave to Insider.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if that's the one that Chillmonger had read. It might be. I think
Yeah.
so. I think I am. Uh huh. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will send it to you. I'll send it to you via DM anyway. Um.
Okay.
So you have a copy of that, but I'm just gonna read where it says here is what really happened. I unfortunately I cannot highlight it because it's kind of funny like that. But so you're gonna have to bear with me. You're gonna have to bear with me, like, as I read this here. So it says, here's what really happened, as witnessed by the driver who saw and heard everything. Just before 1 a.m., Miss Jabbari assaulted Mr. Majors in a car while she was attempting to steal his phone. The driver will testify that Mr. Majors never struck Miss Jabbari in any way at any time, or even raised his voice, and instead, while Miss Jabbari was hitting and scratching and attacking Mr. Majors begged the driver to open the door so that he could jump out of the car and escape her. The driver will testify that he unlocked the door to help Mr. Majors escape. Miss Jabari then attacked Mr. Majors on the street as he tried to run away from her. In doing so, key point here, in doing so, and in trying to prevent him from escaping, she ripped his coat buttons and tore his coat pockets, but he got away. A few minutes later, as Mr. Majors was trying to find the car so that he could escape Miss Jabari and go to a hotel, Miss Jabari saw Mr. Majors and begged him to get in the car. They got back into the car, and before the car door even closed, she immediately resumed her physical assault to steal Mr. Major's phone. This
Right.
time, this time she did this in front of the driver and three people standing on the street. Once
Right.
more, Mr. Majors jumped out of the car and literally ran away to protect himself. Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Majors took a taxi directly to a hotel on the Upper East Side and did not see Miss Jabari again until approximately 11:13 a.m. That's Eastern time. When he called a handyman to unlock his bedroom door and found her unconscious on the floor of a closet. A witness on the phone with Mr. Majors when he found his door locked called the handyman and discovered Miss Jabbari's unconscious body. Mr. Majors had no idea where Miss Jabbari went after he left her at 1 a.m. And what she did afterward, why she was unconscious on a closet floor behind a locked door. However, through an intensive investigation, included detailed review of hours of come on, subpoena security footage, video footage, we have discovered where Miss Jabbari went after attacking Mr. Majors and what she did. I'm going to read this last part here, and then I have questions for you. Directly after attacking, slapping, cutting, and scratching Mr. Majors, and after ripping his clothes while he tried to escape her, Ms. Jabbari went clubbing and entered Lucy nightclub at the Moxie Hotel at approximately 1:30. Just the fact alone shows Ms. Jabbari felt legally and morally entitled to physically assault Mr. Majors and in front of witnesses, and considered this event to have no consequences for her. This is why I said earlier that it may not have been the best move for her to respond that way. uh, to respond that way to Grace Jabbari when sorry, not Grace Jabbari, to Priya Chaudhry when Priya um I said to her in regards to the video of her at the club, and then she said the one that you released. That's why I was saying that. Are you here? Are you here, by the way? Please tell me you're here. Oh no. PTSD, PTSD, PTSD. Hello? Oh no, she's mute again. I think she's bored in the
Sorry, I'm
plane.
here. I'm here. I had it
Okay.
on mute because it's so noisy in this
Okay.
airport. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Because
so
when she snapped back at her like that, it kind of diminished her innocence. Because the whole time she was this innocent crybaby damsel in distress, and now you're talking slick about a video showing you having fun after you allegedly got pummeled in the back of an Escalade.
it's I and I'm glad that she released that letter as well, because there are people coping on Twitter right now. There are people coping on Twitter who has said to me that the letter I just read is not authenticated. Then who wrote it? Moses?
Right,
Who could
right.
who could have predicted this then? Like, come
Somebody
on.
actually sat there and wrote that whole letter just to help Jonathan Majors out.
Like,
Okay.
come on, my guy.
I
Like
could have
you,
did it. I like to write. Put me on the payroll.
you know what I mean? But it's like they were literally fighting me, saying it's unauthenticated, this and that. I'm like, it's insider, bro. It's inside. It says it's to insider. Like it's in, like, it's contributed by insider. That's why it says it's document that I couldn't believe it. But that letter is literally everything that Grace and everything that Grace was basically testifying right here. And I'm gonna give Kat all the credit for, because her saying this literally brought my mind back to when I covered it. I was like, oh shoot, yes, that because she did say um she did say, okay, so I'm gonna share this tab. 1 second, let me go straight to it. There we go. Kat basically tweeted, and make sure you follow her, Miss Marco Polo. Oh God, I hate that name so much. I don't even know why you call yourself Marco Polo, but anyway. Sorry, Kat. Sorry. She knows I don't like it. Anyway, she says, okay, so hold up. People have been saying for a while that Priya was lying for Jonathan Majors, but Grace Jabbari testified to her and Priya lied out, except to note that she never scratched Major. Exactly. And I think Dani is gone again. Damn, Dani. Oh no, she's gone. She gone? Yeah, she's gone. So it's just me. It's just me and my Jack Jones today. For a few minutes. Hopefully she does return. But everything that like amazing detective work, because she really clocked that for, and I wish I clocked it. But yeah, like the minute she said, I was like, shoot, yes, because she did lay out everything to a T. And after she made this tweet, and I think that lady, that crazy lady, started started going at people for this. But I really um but yes, everything that Priya laid out in that letter lined up magnificently. Um and it shows how much it shows really how much this case is so flimsy. It shouldn't be in court. It shouldn't be in court, but but it's 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 insane how this case even got this far. I appreciate every single one of you for being here, and for tuning into the stream and rocking with me. I'm gonna give the 10 more minutes to see if if um uh Dani does come back, because I do want to say bye to her and uh thank her for being on the stream, because she is delivered so much information, much needed information. And I'm so glad to have had her on, because she has given so much context to everything, that because we've been gaslit by the media here. They have tried to really sweep this case under the rug because they bagged the wrong horse, and them going silent on everything Danny just shared is so telling. Like, it's beyond telling. So I'm really happy that that she was here um to share what she had to say. Cats Kat said, I've had that Twitter for over a decade. Chill. You chill. Change your name. Marco Polo. I'm playing. I'm playing. I love you, Kat. Love you for real. um, Chill read. Read it last night. Wonder Woman 7880. Great. I'm happy you did. I wish more people could you know check it out. And get acquainted with this case, because there's so much in there that people don't actually know. Like, they have always wanted, oh, I want to know the details, I want to know the evidence, I want to know why happened. That she laid it out, and Grace corroborated outside of, oh, I never scratched him. Well, there's blood on your fingers, and there isn't blood on your fingers. Can you explain that now? Jules McFly says scratching like Jackie Jeffers. I love Jackie Jeff as well. Good shout, good DJ shout. Um, Wonder Woman 780 says, this is such yet another deeply informative watch. Dani, thank you. It was refreshing to have a black woman in the courtroom taking notes to share what act. Yeah, she knew the agenda. I'm just gonna say it. She knew. And I'm glad she's there. I hate anyone that knows me, that's been following me for a long time, knows how much I don't like to bring up this kind of subjects. But when a case like this does go on, I'm glad that people do see a bias that is being played out right now by the media. I will equalize what I'm saying, though. I will play devil's advocate to what I'm saying, though, because this is a high profile case. This is a woman against a man kind of case. So it could have been a more gender bias than a race bias. But of course, I do take it a bit more personally. Just saying, I mean, anyway, this anyway, it anyway. The point I'm trying to make is, I kind of understand why the bias would be both gender and both race at the same time. That's basically what I'm trying to say, because it happens a lot to a lot of these cases that does hit the media. They back the woman, they back and then when the details come out that is so unfavorable, and this one is really unfavorable, they just stop completely. They don't report anymore. It's done. Like the Trevor Bauer case. The Trevor Bauer case, that's just when the allegations first hit. The um M the MLB. I had to think about that for a second. The Major League Baseball dropped it immediately. Everyone was talking about it, and then when he had his evidence to share and everything, silence. Media hasn't picked it up till today. It's only on Twitter. No one has picked it up. So it is a gender thing. It's also, it could also have a racial. It does have a racial component, to be quite honest, because I think that Grace is playing every privilege that she has to play with. But that's just me. Ghost Monster, thank you so much for your chat. Thanks for killing it, you all. Shouts to Kat for the referral. Thank you, Kat, for the referral, by the way. Thank you so much. Jules McFly, just seen your Twitter, bro. Um, no wonder you're doing the good work. Oh, thank you. My Twitter is there. Make sure you hit the follow button there. Um, yeah, well, I mean, when you get a Twitter, of course. But I appreciate you. You know what? Like, I've covered. I've covered the Megan Tory case. There's all the evidence from that trial. It's all on my on on video. You know, it's all broken down in playlists. I've covered the. I'm currently releasing a docu series of the Dead v Heard case. Every evidence, etc., is all there. It's on the channel live now. There's so many cases I've covered on here. This is one of them, and this one is really important. I'm also going to covering the Courtney Clenny case against Miami FL. That's going to be live streamed, so I will be live streaming that. 100%, because again, that case is so important. um but I can't wait for that case. But in regards to this case, I'm seeing it to the end. It's unfortunate I cannot do the daily recaps like Kat has been doing. I will definitely put the link for Kat into the description, as well as Pam Entertainment. And they've been working really hard on this, bringing you day by day coverage. It's a shame. And also Legal Bites as well, like she's covering it. She's covering it now. Now as we speak, I will give you the link to her site. She's probably the only reputable creator that's a lawyer that's actually covering this case day by day. So uh it's a real blackout on this case. Like, no one is rarely people are picking it up. So for us smaller, I would say smaller content creators, obviously relative in size because of the subscribers counts, etc. You know what I'm trying to say. uh I really wish um I really wish it could have a little bit more pump, so that the actual objective truth can get out there. Megan Kunif is a great court reporter. I'm very surprised she's not covering it. I thought she would, but then again, she lives in LA, so I can kind of understand why she wouldn't be in the courtroom for this one. But I was really hoping she would cover it, because when she did cover Meg Vittori, it was very unbiased. It was I really enjoyed her coverage, and I do trust her. Opinions can differ in some cases, but I do trust her to actually bring unfiltered news. Um, but yeah, she platformed the accuser a little bit. Woman, I don't know. Bias it is bias. Uh, um, but I do like her reporting. I yeah, but Jules McFly says page great, lead me to it. Let me go. Oh, Ghostmaster says I have a degree, a journalism degree from Walter Cronkite at SASU, and media puts me to hive these days. It's all just sad. If I were you, I would start your own Substack at this point. Like capitalize on their blackouts. Like really, if I would encourage you to go that route. Don't let the degree go to waste. I think you know a lot more than them, and try and bring it out this way, because people will support you when they see, because people are not dumb. They know when they're being lied to. And if I think more people are becoming more and more objective, um because you will have the crowd that have made their mind up, but those are a minority, by the way. It's not everyone. That's a minority. Most people are actually in the middle, and they'll come to channels like myself, Kat, Pam Entertainment, whoever is covering the case. They will go there to actually inquire what's going on. It's just we're not like It's just that those people would ideally look out for the big stations if they're covering, that is. So I believe more and more people like that are inquisitive are growing in number. So QNF platform the Trevor Bauer accuser. Yes, she did, but she she did, but because of her, we got to hear the damning audio, the damning telephone call to Trevor Bauer, which I don't think we would have ever heard if it wasn't for her doing that, and if it wasn't for the accuser doing a press tour, because I don't know why she thought that audio was a great idea. It destroyed her case. Um, but I don't think she's returning. I think she's actually on the plane now. So I am going to try and bring her back on Friday if I could, so that we can have another stream, or Tuesday. Whenever this, I will try and bring her back so that so that she can, spill the tea on whatever was going on in court. I am going to close the stream up now. Uh, it's almost 2 a.m. here, which surprised me. I'm full of energy today. I'm really happy about that. But thank you every single one of you for tuning in. Thank you every single one of you that have sent super chats and supported the channel in. I really do appreciate you, Kat. I really do appreciate MC No Light. I really do appreciate Khalil, and I really do appreciate Khalil Jane. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Khalil Jane. I see the X is quite. I'm using my Spanish to really help me out here. Shane. But thank you so much, by the way, for tuning into this stream. There will be plenty more. Make sure you head out to drheinz.info to get all the details of this case. Let me, in fact, you know what? Let me actually just show you. Um, let me just go to their website myself and basically just, yeah. So here you will find everything in regards to the Jonathan Majors case files. 1 second, let me just. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Uh Here you will find the Majors case all laid out for you, and as well as the other cases that I'm working on right now. So yeah, go and that's the Ari Jacob versus Taylor Lorenz and the New York Times. I've been covering that case from the start. All of the evidence is right there, um, presented to you, and this is the last stream that was done with Nat, the lawyer chick, who is a criminal defense lawyer in New York, and in that, I after the stream was done, all of the documents from the case, the letter is here, the motion to dismiss by Jonathan Majors is also here. The articles that was covering the case is also here. That was referenced in the stream is also here. The tweet that everything that was basically mentioned in the stream is all here ready. The difference between this one is I'll be providing quotes and excerpts from this stream, and what uh, Dani, sorry, I'm not great with names. I'm really, really bad with it. But what Dani was really, was spilling right here, for all of you. So once again, thank you so much. Make sure you head over to info to get all you need in regards to this case, to have evidence, so that if anyone chats BS, you can literally send this to them and just say, look, listen, cope harder, because people were actually there and they witnessed this person lie in the courtroom. But I'm going to close out now. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you everyone for utilizing the chat. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to also like and share this video. Make sure you get the replay crew charged up. But yes, timestamps will be available to everyone that do return to see it. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Take care and have a great day. And if you're from the UK and up, you know, have a great night. Enjoy your sleep. If you're wherever you are right now, great evening. If you're in Australia, good morning. Guten Hag if you're in Guten Nagen if you're in Germany, because it's nighttime at the moment. But anyway, have a great evening. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye bye.